بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم. أما بعد، من أبي هريرة رضي الله تعالى عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال: إذا زنت الأمة فتبين زناها فليجلد الحد ولا يثرب عليها، ثم إن زنت الثانية الحد يثرب عليها، إن زنت الثالثة فليبيعها ولو بحق شعر. Both Imam Bukhari and Imam Muslim rahmatullahi alayhi were respectively record this narration. Sayyidina Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu is the Rawi, is the narrator. He says that when a slave lady, the slave woman commits fornication and it is proven, she should be flogged and not rebuked. If she then commits fornication a second time, she should be flogged and not rebuked. If she does it a third time, then the master should sell her, even if it be for a rope made of fibers. In Islam, there are certain wrongs when a person commits. There's what we call a hadith, shari'i punishment that is given up. One of those is with regards to adultery or fornication. Nowadays, people talk about, oh, it is harsh, right? It is incorrect, it is inhumane. Islam speaks about building a wholesome society. Islam has come to bring about goodness in the community. The hudud, what we call the hudud, and the punishments that the Sharia has said, and there are very few, there are not many. Person steals, there's a specific punishment for that. Person commits adultery, a person kills someone, person slanders someone. Right? Of course, you're slandering slander, you can't pay any witnesses or for your slandering as well. Because what you call if you're slandering someone, whereas adultery fornication. Now, these punishments are to serve as a deterrent. That's the real thing. It serves as a deterrent because if somebody is committing adultery and they're proven guilty, and then of course a person won't be able to go to the Muslim judge and say, I saw such and such a brother committing adultery. Adultery and fornication, the difference is adultery, married person, having illicit relationships, having intimacy with someone who's not his wife, right? Or not the husband. And fornication is, on the other hand, is that someone who is unmarried and then they're having relations with, with the opposite gender, with someone and they're not supposed to be having, right? So that's where the difference comes in. And then there's a difference of punishment. The adulterer will be stoned, it's death, it's a punishment. And the one who commits fornication, the unmarried person, then they'll be hit 100 times. Now, you just can't go to and tell the judge, I saw so and so committed zina, committed adultery, or committed fornication, because you'll be asked, bring your evidences, bring your 4 witnesses. And sometimes that's nearly impossible because you have to come and bring the 4 witnesses and say, I saw them in that, right? It can't be, I just saw them lying down in bed together. Well, it could just have been having a cup of tea, right? However, yes, you saw them in bed together, then you can say, I saw them in bed together. And then the judge would rule accordingly, right? And so the whole issue of these punishments is to serve as a deterrent, because the moment somebody who's killing, nowadays we're seeing it, right? Nowadays we're seeing people killed at the age, they murder at the age of 18 and 19. And they said, don't worry, by 50 we'll be out, right? Don't worry, we'll get a good lawyer by, I'm not sure what happens here, but I know it's becoming common in Barbados now. Young individuals are committing murders and they're not even batting an eyelid because they're thinking, oh, if I'm 19 years old, maybe the judge will give me 30, 35 years. Then after what happens, you put in a plea and you put a request in, then 10 years are chopped off, then another, sometimes you say, oh, good behavior. So yeah, I can be out by 30, maybe spending 10, 11 years, 30 years I'm out, I'm still good. On the other hand, Islam tells you kill somebody, you murder someone, your life is at stake. Your life is at stake. So if you know you're going to lose your life, then you'll not take once, so you'll take many times before trying to commit such an act. And that's why these hudud and these, subhanAllah, it's amazing, right? It's the hypocrisy of the world we're living in. There are individuals who will travel to these lands and say, oh, it's so nice that we can go to these places, places that in which Islamic law is supposed to be the go-to, right? Even though there are many tourist destinations, oh, we go to the Emirates, we can walk around freely. And then they post some pictures, these people are driving into these supermarket lots and they're leaving their keys in their luxurious vehicles and they're not afraid. They're not afraid. So then learn from that. Learn from that. Drugs, drugs in and out of a country, punishments in these states are very severe. In our ideas, well, severe slap on the wrist. We'll keep doing it. And it's affecting, we know the drug problems in our Caribbean countries. Now, that's so, alhamdulillah, what happens? These rulings primarily serve as a deterrent. It serves as a deterrent. People think twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times before doing it, because you know that your life is at stake. If you steal, your hand is going to go, right? So it's a serious matter, and that's subhanAllah loves. And the whole thing about it's about mercy, because then you're making and building that wholesome community and wholesome society. Right? Then, as a husband, you're not going to go and cheat. Because if you go and cheat and your wife goes or anybody goes and informs the qadi, the Muslim judge, then you're in trouble. You're in trouble. Nowadays, I was listening to something, someone, right. Maulana Sheikh Salmi yesterday said, subhanAllah, we're living in a society where a wife or a husband can go and cheat on the other. And say, take for example the case of a wife, because a husband will cheat, sometimes the wife can't say much, right? Says the wife goes and she cheats on the husband. May Allah protect us all. But she goes and cheats on the husband. And then the husband, if he goes and calls the police and say, but my wife is cheating. Well, what can we do about it? It's a free country. Right? What? It's a free country. There's no law to say, someone may tell you go focus in this thing, that thing. But by and large, it's a free country. You can't force anybody to do what? Well, it's her body. She can do what she wants. Right? She can do what she wants. Same thing for a husband. The wife gonna go and say, oh, my husband is cheating on me. Well, if he has 5 outside women and 10 children, well, that's him. Is he supporting it? Oh, he's supporting all 10 children? Great. And mom, you don't really have a case. Right? Yeah, if you want to get a divorce, you can get a divorce. But I mean, we can't lock him up. On the other hand, Islam will tell you, and then of course, that creates issues in the society. And then, as we've been discussing, the moment people see that sin is easy to commit, then you don't think twice. Because he's done it and gotten away. He's done it and gotten away. Why can't I do it and get away? And everybody goes and does it. Secret marriages, a different topic. The Muslim community, right? We're going to go and get married a second time secretly. And then we're not fulfilling anybody's rights. That's incorrect. That's incorrect. We got to remember, we got to fulfill the hukuk. The hukuk of each spouse has to be fulfilled. Right? That's a whole different topic. Right. So here what happened was Prophet ﷺ mentioned that if perchance a slave woman, she commits, she fornicates, now you'll give her the punishment. And the punishment for the slave is half that of a free person. In those times, who were the slaves? Generally, they were people who were the prisoners of war, who were captured by the Muslims, right, during war. And now that's their punishment, right? Nowadays, we don't have that concept of slavery. It's a whole discussion. And of course, just to remind everyone, it's not slavery, the concept of slaves when they were under the rule of Muslims, and slave in what we thought of slavery in terms of those who were brought to the shores from Africa, different things. In Islam, slave had rights. Prophet ﷺ, after Badr, he used to make sure that the slaves were treated, they had food to eat. And the Sahaba mentioned that Prophet ﷺ gave so much emphasis about treating the prisoners of war correctly that we were giving them the good food and we were eating the very, very simple food. And then the Sharia explains many times that, for example, sometimes when you have to give the fidya, the kafara, right, the kafara, you have to expiate for an error you've made. Many of those, one of the first things that will come is to free a slave. Free a slave. So the Sharia wasn't telling you to keep slaves. The Sharia actually was bringing about this idea of freeing slaves. But of course, sometimes in communities, it may be better that a person stays with you. Remember, it's not like nowadays they just pick up and just go back to your homeland. It becomes very difficult. Just imagine a person who has been brought, who's a slave, who's been brought to your foreign country. How are they going to travel through the deserts and wherever else to get back? So you keep them by you. You look after them. You pay them a wage. You arrange their marriages. Quran mentions about these things, arranging their marriages, giving them a good life. All of that, subhanAllah, right? And you're not to hurt them. You're not to think. There was one incident of Abu Dhar. He was Abu Dhar, or one of the Sahaba, and he was wearing, instead of, so sometimes you have two cloths or one cloth. He was wearing one cloth and service with another. And he said, "What's happening here?" He said, "Well," and he explained that I treated one of my, and I was admonished by the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and I've been told that what you wear, you may never wear, right? So you were not allowed to treat those under your care, of those who consider slaves, that you're not allowed to treat them how you wanted, or treat them in an abusive manner, right? Otherwise, the Prophet ﷺ also taught that there's going to be accountability. Again, that's another discussion. Dr. Jonathan Brown has a lovely book on it, and he has there's some videos on YouTube of this as well, in which he examines the role of slavery, right, in Islam. So if a slave girl commits zina, now she'll be given the punishment. Now, what is amazing here is that the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that she should be flogged and not rebuked. She should be flogged and not rebuked. The punishment has to be given out. Who gives the punishment? Then there's an ikhtilaf here. Is it the master who's going to give her the 50 lashes, or the qadi? Right? That's a key discussion. But here, the whole purpose of mentioning this hadith is to say that, subhanAllah, she has done the wrong. But afterwards, you're not supposed to say, tell the slave girl, "Oh, look at you, you're a zaniya. You're fornicated. You know how sometimes so this the hadith, the shulchan, the committee is saying, this person has been proven wrong, proven guilty. They've been given they've been given the punishment. But yet the Prophet ﷺ was saying, after that, don't say a word about it. Don't remind them of it. Now, this is if a slave girl who has so-called, we call less friends. So what about a free person? What about a person who comes to the masjid who may have had a past, and then we remind him of the past? A sister who may have done wrong, and then we keep reminding them of the wrong. Sometimes nicknames, right? Nicknames. I know in our culture, sometimes we like a nickname. We got to be very, very careful of the type of nicknames we use. Names have an effect. And especially if you don't want to have children or children growing up hearing such nicknames about their parents that, they're a bit unpleasant. Remember, a nickname is only permissible, it's only permitted when the person likes it and he agrees to it. And not that he likes it because or he agrees to it because everybody is calling him that. Well, I always remember there was a gentleman who came to me, Barbados, and he said, please can you just let the people know and your circle and love, especially the younger group that call me by my name, call me uncle, call me something. Because he said, my wife just given birth to the baby girl. And I don't want that my little girl grows up hearing this name, right? So of course, if you don't, you never liked it, never said anything. But this is very, very important. Like you call no such names and stuff with Allah. Gotta be very careful about it. So here you're being told that don't rebuke, don't chastise you. We're all saying, oh look at you. Or you know what we do? We may not do it right away. So a brother is coming to the masjid, mashallah, so first you say mashallah, right? Then he starts getting he's coming more often. He has a beard now. He's praying, he's attending some classes. Then one day he comes and he voices his opinion in a diplomatic way, in a pleasant way, right? Non-controversial manner. He's saying something, he mentions something. And then we look at him and say, yesterday he used to be on the street smoking dope, running well behind women, attending every party, drinking heavily, and now you got all to come in here and say something to us. You're the big fornicator. You're the big druggie. It's wrong. That was a life they had. But now they've done tawbah. Who are we to remember with all these things? But sadly, that's the way we go down sometimes, right? Yesterday you were nothing. We used to be in here long before you. You used to be womanizer, big womanizer. I want to come in here to tell us what to do. It's unfortunate. We're not supposed to be that. So here the Messenger of Allah, what is he saying? Don't even tell the slave girl. Don't rebuke her. Then the Prophet goes on to say, if she does it a second time, no problem. The Had comes back and put her again. The Shari'i punishment, right? But again, don't rebuke her. If the third time she does it, now the master is told, go and sell her. Even if it be for a rope made of fibers. Even if it be for a rope made of fibers. Somebody may say, remember we've been talking about the whole time about the importance of unity, looking after our brothers and sisters, not harming them in any way. So the question then is, if you're going to sell a slave girl who's addicted to fornicating, are you not causing harm to a fellow Muslim brother or sister? So the scholar said, no. Firstly, you have to mention, because this is an ayib, this is a defect. So when you're selling her, you have to tell the person who is purchasing, right, who is buying the slave, that she has a bad habit. That's why I'm selling, and that's one of the reasons why I'm selling, so that they will make their own conscious decision. Right? So otherwise it's a debate. Scholars have also mentioned, the commentators have mentioned the other reason for this is that sometimes it could be that when she's living by this master, he's a bit more relaxed, or he doesn't have that authority to want to say, or she just doesn't listen to him, she ignores him. Maybe she'll go somewhere else and now she'll behave herself. It's like a student who's in one school and is given trouble. Right? And then if you say, we are so tired of you. But then they go to another school and then they prosper. Because this whole environment is different. Sometimes it happens in marriages. Right? This a flashback of an incident. It was one. This is show how some of our scholars were regards to caring for people. There's one scholar, his wife used to give him a lot of trouble, a lot of trouble. I mean, trouble in terms of being foul in language and harassing him, verbally abusive towards him, and stuff like that. Really harsh towards him. So the students, they kind of take it. They said one day, Sheikh Ustad, just divorce her. She's causing all this trouble. Even in front of us, she's causing trouble. She has no regard whatsoever. So the Sheikh said, if I divorce her, then perhaps she'll go and get married to another person. And the way she is, she's going to cause everybody trouble. So I prefer to bear the brunt of it instead of letting her go somewhere else and give another person trouble. Yeah, that's just way to say it. But here it says that sometimes it does happen that there may be a relationship that's not working. Really, what we know compatibility, whatever, right? The wife may not have that level of respect for whatever reason for the husband. But then she goes into another marriage after she's divorced, so then they're divorced. And now she goes into another marriage, and now this man has what we also call aura about him, or maybe his job is better, maybe his pay is better because sadly people look at these things. So now she respects him more. So before she was belittling that person, maybe it could have been that her income was more than his, or maybe she didn't think that he was a person of great self-respect. Now it could be that she married someone maybe a few years older than her, maybe a person in a better job or better income. Now she thinks to herself, oh yeah, he's deserving of a bit more respect, and she met her base, right? So the same way it seems okay, this labor may not have been working with you, it's not been good there. So instead, what we'll do, get her somewhere else. But the important thing of this hadith is do not rebuke her. Do not rebuke her. In spite of whatever she may have been saying, you are not allowed to go and chastise her, you're not allowed to go and say Zania, a fornicator. You're not supposed to say these words. So we'll be here reminding ourselves of this um, very important quality that we need to bring into our lives as well. Let's not insult, let's not hurt, let's not say anything evil before it comes to anyone. Let's not be mindful of their past. Let's just do the last one with this one hadith. And this is Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu also mentions this. It says, a person who had consumed alcohol was brought to the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay, so there's also a punishment for drinking alcohol. This hadith was before that punishment had come down, was revealed to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, beat him, right? And I think that was punishment, not a specific amount. So Abu Hurairah says some of us beat him with our hands, others beat him with their sandals, others beat him with their clothes. When the person now, when the beating is finished, enough is enough now. Somebody shouted and said, may Allah disgrace you. May Allah disgrace you. Prophet said, do not say that. Do not say that. Do not help shaitan against him. In other words, don't make this dua disgraceful. He's done wrong. Punishment has been given. So the punishment will be given, but you're not allowed to disgrace. You're not allowed to disgrace. Don't say this. Don't say these things. And in other words, one of the scholars mentioned, don't disgrace him because if you start saying these words, he'll think to himself, why should I be with these Muslims? They're calling me names. I did wrong. I was given the punishment, and still they're going on. And that's where the lesson comes for us as well. And we'll end there. Is that a person apologizes. Then you bring up, we'll talk. Again, family dynamics, husband and wife. Happens all the time. Right? Mistake we have made, argument took place, we apologize, and then 5 years down the line, you remember when. Even in our communities, in our circles, you remember when. So here you're being told, okay, he's done something wrong. Don't assist shaitan. Don't assist shaitan. His wrong was that penalty was given. Don't go out insulted. May Allah Ta'ala grant us the understanding, let us be able to live a life of harmony, goodness, togetherness, unity. Amen.